Hello, Tom from MeBe here. See, I'm sporting my Imagine t-shirt because I'm super excited for April. But that's not what this video is meant to be about. This video, I wanted to share with you a little bit of something that I've been working on with Amazon's Echo device. Kind of part of my interest looking at all things future commerce was looking at the sort of like assistants and voice activated assistants. Echo being the kind of what I think is the most popular one. Obviously, we've had Siri and Cortana and things like that for years, but they're very much like about they're part of your personal devices. Whereas the interesting thing I think about Amazon, the Echo and Google's Home device and that their assistant is that they're social devices. They're in and around the house. It's a bit more kind of socially acceptable to be asking them questions as opposed to speaking to your phone, giving it, when you're in social environments. So what I know that people have done in the past, Alan Kent released a blog post where he was experimenting with that Alexa probably, close to a year ago. Oh, I shouldn't have spoken her name. She's always listening. He was experimenting with.
I can't find the answer to the question I heard.
Yeah, it's because you weren't meant to be listening. So yeah, he was experimenting with from the merchant perspective. So integrated it with Magento Store to find out, how many orders there were, what the stock levels were. And so when I got one a couple of weeks ago, I wanted to experiment creating a customer app. So, one of our clients, Smythson, could I create a skill, which is what it's, what Amazon Echo calls their sort of apps. Could I create a skill where it could answer questions from a customer's perspective, maybe even on their account information? Now, the first thing you looked at was Magento APIs. Really wouldn't want to have to build a custom extension for every Magento store to install to get this functionality. So I looked at the REST API. Now, the cool thing about REST APIs is that you can authenticate yourself like as a customer and authenticate an app to ask questions on your behalf. You'll be familiar with this sort of approach for Twitter and Facebook. And when you're authenticating an app, you say yes, and then they can get a little bit of information about your account without you having to provide it to them. Now, Magento actually had that in Magento 1 with the REST API, as I say. It's not feature complete, I think is the polite way of saying it, but it does give you enough of ability to actually get order information out, which is the thing I was focusing on. I thought, your most common use case is you've got your Echo at home and you place an order, and you want to check on it. So you might think to yourself currently, like, oh, later when I'm in the office or whatever, I'll remember to kind of check my emails to see if I missed something about it being dispatched, or I'll go online and visit and go into my account area. Now, the cool thing about the Echo being around, just available, you can solve that need there and then without having to even distract yourself from your current task. So let's test it out. Alexa, ask Smythson, where's my order?
The order of one Elliott Slim briefcase that you placed an hour ago has been dispatched to MeanBee, 30 to 32 West Gate Buildings.
Cool. So it works. So yeah, that's the skill that I've built for that client so far. As I say, it's hard coded to me at the moment. I need to build authentication in, but that's all something that can be done and already serviced by the Magento API. I've added a couple of other intents. So each skill has a set of intents, things that you would like to do with it. And you give it a list of phrases that indicate that that's that intent. So I've written out, say, 5 or 6 sentences that all kind of mean like give the customer an order status update, and that's the way that the Echo and the dots learn what people are referring to. I've added a couple of other kind of dummy ones in there, so these don't talk to Magento at this point, but just to show the sort of things you could build out and the questions that it could answer on behalf of a store. So let's try a few other things. Alexa, ask Smythson, any news?
Hi there.
See, it's not going to plan just yet. Alexa, ask Smythson, any news?
Hi there.
She does not like that. Okay, let me ask it something different. Alexa, ask Smythson, what time does your London store close?
They're open until 7 p.m. today.
Okay, cool. Nailed it. What else? What else have we got? We have, oh yeah, Alexa, ask Smythson, is the Elliott Slim briefcase available?
Smythson has just released their Elliott Slim briefcase. Shall I drop you an email about it?
No, it's fine. So that's pretty cool. And then the other thing I've done is customer services. So Alexa, ask Smythson, what's the best way to get in touch?
The best way to get in touch is by calling Smithson on 0808 164 1801.
Cool. So you will have noticed there, one thing that I've run into is the invocation name. So I'm saying Smytheson, but Smytheson actually doesn't have an E between the H and the S. But Alexa doesn't seem to understand it without me putting an E in there. So with that one, I've typed it how it's meant to be spelled, Smythson. And yes, that would pronounce that Smithson. So, but you can have different brand names, name of the skill, as well as invocation name. So here I've done the name of Smytheson, or Smithson, and the invocation name of Smytheson spelled incorrectly so that she understands it. So yeah, not perfect, but I think it's certainly something that's got legs. I think it's very interesting given how many devices have been sold. Seems to be something that people are at least experimenting with. So yeah, something I'm going to carry on working with, building out some of the functionality, adding authentication, so it could actually potentially get it. You have to get skills certified by Amazon, checked over. So yeah, I plan on doing that. So yeah, watch this space. Another one to keep an eye on. I think it's very interesting. Cheers.